welcome to VNN Canada with me, Navedna Prabhu. In today's episode, I'm joined in by Micheal Davis, who is the District Operations Coordinator at H&R Block Canada, and of course, is a tax professional too. Micheal, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure. Well, we are going through, of course, it's the tax season, but it is also strange times that we're living in, which is one of the reasons why a lot of the questions regarding tax season has, been in the mind of people, considering, deadlines have been pushed. Also, with measures like CERB, potential credits for small-time businesses, the big question really here is how does everything work for this year? Because everyone's going through this for the very first time. So before we dig into this further, my first question to you would be, how is it different from last year? What does tax season look like this year in particular?
Well, this year it started with a few changes. The T1 General got changed compared to what it's been in the past. Our line numbers all got changed around, so they went from a traditional 3-digit number to adding on 2 more digits at the end. Example, line 101 is now 10100. It was done more progressive thinking going forward. If they want to add any other deductions or benefits on certain lines, they can put a number in between rather than continuing to grow those numbers. So we've seen those changes. There's been a few other credits here in Ontario. A big change has been the care credit, the child care access relief from expense credit. That's a refundable credit for child care expenses. The old credit, which you're still eligible to receive, it takes your income and reduces it, so it reduces your taxable income. This credit actually is fully refundable, so even people with tax exempt income are getting a benefit for the child care that they've had to pay for.
Right. So keeping in mind of the pandemic, right, COVID-19, of course, the federal government did come up with a lot of measures to help people. One of the biggest probably programs that is covering a lot of people is CERB. The question here has always been, am I supposed to pay it back? Well, the answer is yes. But what are the terms and conditions for paying it back in terms of the CERB?
So you don't have to pay the CERB back. It is income replacement. So it's just like it's a special measure instead of the employment insurance that's out there, and it is eligible for some people who may not be eligible for employment insurance. So it is income replacement. But the one thing to remember with this is actually because it's income replacement, it is fully taxable. So this amount of money is going to show up on your tax return next year. However, no taxes are withheld from source on this, so you're going to have to pay that tax bill when it comes to next season. I've been telling families if they can now to maybe put a little bit away. You can go back to your tax pro and ask them what your marginal tax rate was and try to save that amount or save close to that amount. Other people, it's just not going to be possible to put that away off of these payments because they've had a reduction in their income so much that they need that to foot their bills. And really that's why the benefit was out there. But just know that going forward, that money is going to be taxable and that tax bill will come in next year.
Well, in terms of the deadlines for this year, can you shed some light on that? What are the deadlines looking like?
Yeah, so knowing that, they were telling a lot of people to stay at home and to not go anywhere, they pushed the deadline back to June 1st instead of the traditional April 30th. You have to file your taxes before the June 1st deadline if your personal income tax, if you don't want to be assessed a penalty if you have any amounts owing. However, they did push the amount owing deadline to make payments to September 1st. So even if you do have an amount owing and you file before the deadline, you're not going to incur any penalties and you actually won't incur any interest until September 1st. So, this is really great for those people who might have an amount owing. It gives them a couple months to make payments or to break their payments down in smaller amounts and get that paid off before they get any interest.
In terms of self-employment, people who are, of course, self-employed, any changes on that front for them?
So self-employment had always been given a June 15th deadline to file, so they've always been extended. As long as they file before June 15th, they wouldn't have a penalty. That deadline is still remaining, June 15th. They haven't pushed that back. But once again, they're going to fall under the same guidelines for the interest. So if they do have amounts owing, they're not going to have to make any payments until the September 1st deadline.
What about deferring taxes owing? Any information on that front?
Well, they can defer the taxes owing until the September 1st deadline. After that, they're going to have to start making the payments on those income taxes if they want to avoid any interest.
In terms of additional credits for small businesses, of course, the government has come up with measures for them. So, could you talk to us in detail about the same? Like, how is that looking like for them this year?
Well, the government has increased the maximum. Sorry, the government has changed it a little bit and they've added a couple of programs out there. So there's programs to help some employees with the cost of employees. They're going to cover up to 75% or could cover up to 75% of the employee's wage, meaning that the employer would only have to cover the other 25%. There is going to be certain guidelines though on which businesses are eligible for these. So I'd recommend going to the CRA site, looking up all those available credits that are out there for businesses and trying to see if your company does qualify. And if not, do the application forms and let them be the deciding factor.
And how about for seniors? Is what information can you give us about that?
Well, the seniors they fall under the same guidelines as personal income taxes, so their deadline's the same. They're pushed back to June 1st. If they have amounts owing, they're not going to have to make a payment on that till September 1st. There is a few other there is a few other credits out there, home accessibility credits. So if your senior is looking at updating their home to make it easier for them to get around for mobility concerns and health concerns, there's some credits for those.
Okay. So in terms of for people who have come in this year, right, like immigrants, they're always worried about what it looks like in terms of paying taxes back. So let's say someone has landed in December 2019 and they would have to declare their world income for that year until they land in Canada. But how does it work if they're still applying for CERB? Because one of the conditions for CERB is that you could have earned 5,000 Canadian dollars in the year 2019. So, any issues for people who have landed before CERB was introduced because of the pandemic?
I haven't seen any issues with the clients that I've had.
Okay.
Most of the clients that have come into us have had some bit of employment or education that they're trying to get the student CERB, the one that will be coming out.
Right.
I haven't seen any of the ones in our case having any problems getting the CERB.
In terms of H&R Block Canada helping international students, because they're of course a big major source of economy for Canada. Could you shed light as to how H&R Block Canada really guides them to file their taxes? Because they have to afford their tuition, and some students probably might be working part-time as well. So if you could tell us about that, please.
Yeah, in Thunder Bay, we have a large community of international students here at our college and university. So, they are a good portion of our clients that are coming in through the doors. We try to, make them aware of the tax laws in Canada, show them what credits they can expect. We sit down with them, fill out their returns for them, their family returns, walk them through filling out forms like the RC 151. That's the application for the GST and HST credit. That's a big credit that comes out, quarterly throughout the year. We walk them through all those process and then really give them a good expectation of when these credits are coming, what they can expect going forward, understanding, what does their T2200 for school, what does that look like and how does that affect them? Does it affect them this year? Is it something that's going to carry forward to future years? Many of them have also taken a liking to our virtual drop-offs, and I've noticed a lot of international students have found their way to our website, hrblock.ca, and they're using our upload from home service to get us their slips. So they've jumped on board with that quite well with us, and it's nice seeing them using this new technology.
So that was going to be my next question, considering it is COVID-19 and of course all of us are following guidelines, especially social distancing. You guys have moved virtually. So how's that working for you guys?
Well, we've always felt that, we need to do what we can for the clients to make sure that they can get their refunds back. A lot of people might be out of work. This might be the only access to income that they have coming in. Keeping those GST and Trillium credits rolling throughout the summer and through next year is very important on people's minds. We've just pivoted like every other business has had to pivot. We have easy drop-off stations at every one of our offices, so we have 1,100 of them across the country. We have an easy drop-off station there where you would fill out the drop-off forms, sign authorization forms and privacy disclosures, and leave us your information. That's one way where they can come in safely. We practice safe social distancing when we're in there, one person at the table per time. We're sanitizing the pens, and they're able to do that. We've had the upload from home, which I just slightly talked about. It's a great the virtual drop off or upload from home. It's a great program where tax pros can send out links to certain clients of theirs, or anybody can just make their way to the website and sign up for it. You're able to upload all your documents from your laptop, your tablet. We can even take pictures from a mobile device. Those documents come into the office and our tax pro works on them. You're going to get the exact same in-person great service that you would get. We'll conduct a tax interview with you. We're just going to do it all over the telephone. And then when we're finished, we go over the return for you. We can, with a change made to the CRA, we can now accept electronic signatures. So the signing pages bounce back to us with an electronic signature, and we're able to e-file that off and get you your refund in about 10 to 14 days. We also have our do-it-yourself software. Those who don't want to go out to come to one of our offices, or they don't want to do the virtual, maybe they just like to do it themselves. We have a great do-it-yourself software on there with a refundometer on there. Make sure that you're going to get the most coming back.
Which is perfect, right? I mean, you're continuing to do what you're doing, but then people are still getting the services. So before I let you go, a quick question would be, what are the top things to keep in mind, considering we're almost near the deadline for filing of taxes for this year? What are the 3 pointers that you would give people before they're filing their taxes?
Be prepared. That's the number one pointer is come to us with all of your information the first time, especially knowing that we're coming into the last 3 days here. Bring all their slips that you really need. Bring them with you so that we can do it. Don't forget things. Remember your rent receipts. If you had childcare, I said that's a big change to this year's. Those childcare receipts are going to be great. If you have medical, bring in your medical receipts, donation receipts. Make sure you have all your slips. You can always phone one of our offices and ask one of the tax pros to give you a heads up on what information you should be bringing. You can find that information on our website as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm pretty sure our audience has got all the information, but if not, they can log on to your website and get in touch with your company.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Same here. Thank you.
Bye.